Ireland is an island in the North Atlantic Ocean, in northwestern Europe. It is separated from Great Britain to its east by the North Channel, the Irish Sea, and St. George's Channel. Ireland is the second largest island of the British Isles, the third largest in Europe, and the 20th largest in the world. Geopolitically, Ireland is divided between the Republic of Ireland, officially named Ireland, an independent state covering 5/6 of the island, and Northern Ireland, which is part of the United Kingdom. As of 2022, the population of the entire island is just over 7 million, with 5.1 million living in the Republic of Ireland and 1.9 million in Northern Ireland, ranking it the second most populous island in Europe after Great Britain. The geography of Ireland comprises relatively low-lying mountains surrounding a central plain, with several navigable rivers extending inland. Its lush vegetation is a product of its mild but changeable climate, which is free of extremes in temperature. Much of Ireland was woodland until the end of the Middle Ages. Today, woodland makes up about 10% of the island, compared with a European average of over 33%, with most of it being non-native conifer plantations. The Irish climate is influenced by the Atlantic Ocean and thus very moderate, and winters are milder than expected for such a northerly area, although summers are cooler than those in continental Europe. Rainfall and cloud cover are abundant. Gaelic Ireland had emerged by the 1st century AD. The island was Christianized from the 5th century onwards. Following the 12th century Anglo-Norman invasion, England claimed sovereignty. However, English rule did not extend over the whole island until the 16th to 17th century Tudor conquest, which led to colonization by settlers from Britain. In the 1690s, a system of Protestant English rule was designed to materially disadvantage the Catholic majority and Protestant dissenters, and was extended during the 18th century. With the Acts of Union in 1801, Ireland became a part of the United Kingdom. A war of independence in the early 20th century was followed by the partition of the island, leading to the creation of the Irish Free State, which became increasingly sovereign over the following decades, and Northern Ireland, which remained a part of the United Kingdom. Northern Ireland saw much civil unrest from the late 1960s until the 1990s. This subsided following the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. In 1973, the Republic of Ireland joined the European Economic Community while the United Kingdom, and Northern Ireland as part of it, did the same. In 2020, the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland included, left what was by then the European Union. In 795, small bands of Vikings began plundering monastic settlements along the coast of Gaelic Ireland. The annals of Ulster state that in 821 the Vikings plundered Howth and carried off a great number of women into captivity. From 840 the Vikings began building fortified encampments, long forts, on the coast and overwintering in Ireland. The first were at Dublin and Linn Duachail. Their attacks became bigger and reached further inland, striking larger monastic settlements such as Armagh, Clonmacnoise, Glendalough, Kells, and Kildare, and also plundering the ancient tombs of Brú na Bóinne. Viking chief Thorgest is said to have raided the whole Midlands of Ireland until he was killed by Mael Secnail I in 845. In 853, Viking leader Amlaib, Olaf, became the first king of Dublin. He ruled along with his brothers Imar, possibly Ivo the Boneless, and Orizal, 56. Over the following decades, there was regular warfare between the Vikings and the Irish, and between two groups of Vikings, the Dubgail and Fingail, dark and fair foreigners. The Vikings also briefly allied with various Irish kings against their rivals. In 866, Ead Findliath burnt all Viking longforts in the north, and they never managed to establish permanent settlements in that region. The Vikings were driven from Dublin in 902. They returned in 914, now led by the Uimar, House of Ivar. During the next 8 years the Vikings won decisive battles against the Irish, regained control of Dublin, and founded settlements at Waterford, Wexford, Cork, and Limerick, which became Ireland's first large towns. They were important trading hubs, and Viking Dublin was the biggest slave port in Western Europe. These Viking territories became part of the patchwork of kingdoms in Ireland. Vikings intermarried with the Irish and adopted elements of Irish culture, becoming the Norse Gaels. Some Viking kings of Dublin also ruled the Kingdom of the Isles and York, such as Sihtric Catch, Gofraid Uimar, Olaf Guthfrithson, and Olaf Cuaran. Sigtryg Silkbeard was a patron of the arts, a benefactor of the church, and an economic innovator, who established Ireland's first mint, in Dublin. In 980 CE, Mael Secnaill More defeated the Dublin Vikings and forced them into submission. Over the following 30 years, Brian Boru subdued the Viking territories and made himself High King of Ireland. The Dublin Vikings, together with Leinster, twice rebelled against him, but they were defeated in the battles of Glenmamar, 999 CE, and Clontarf, 1014 CE. After the Battle of Clontarf, the Dublin Vikings could no longer single-handedly threaten the power of the most powerful kings of Ireland. Brian's rise to power and conflict with the Vikings is chronicled in Cogad Gadal Rí Galaib, the War of the Irish with the Foreigners. The Irish Free State was created, with dominion status, in 1922 following the Anglo-Irish Treaty. In 1937, a new constitution was adopted, in which the state was named Ireland, and effectively became a republic, with an elected non-executive president. It was officially declared a republic in 1949, following the Republic of Ireland Act 1948. Ireland became a member of the United Nations in December 1955. It joined the European Communities, EC, the predecessor of the European Union, in 1973. The state had no formal relations with Northern Ireland for most of the 20th century, but during the 1980s and 1990s, the British and Irish governments worked with the Northern Ireland parties towards a resolution to the Troubles. Since the signing of the Good Friday Agreement in 1998, the Irish government and Northern Ireland executive have cooperated on a number of policy areas under the North-South Ministerial Council created by the agreement. Ireland is an advanced economy and one of Europe's major financial hubs is centered on Dublin. Ireland ranks among the top 10 wealthiest countries in the world in terms of both GDP and GNI per capita. As of 2016, this was partially ascribed to distortions caused by the tax inversion practices of certain multinationals operating in Ireland. After joining the EC, the country's government enacted a series of liberal economic policies that helped to boost economic growth between 1995 and 2007, a period now often referred to as the Celtic Tiger. A period of recession and a reversal in growth then followed during the Great Recession, which was exacerbated by the bursting of the Irish property bubble. A developed country, Ireland's quality of life is ranked amongst the highest in the world, and the country performs well in several national performance metrics, including healthcare, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. Ireland is a member of the European Union and is a founding member of the Council of Europe and the OECD. The Irish government has followed a policy of military neutrality through non-alignment since prior to World War II, and the country is consequently not a member of NATO, although it is a member of Partnership for Peace and aspects of PESCO. Ireland's economy became more diverse and sophisticated than ever before, integrating itself into the global economy by joining the European Economic Community (EEC), a precursor to the European Community (EC) and the European Union (EU), at the same time as the United Kingdom. By the beginning of the 1990s, Ireland had transformed itself into a modern industrial economy, and generated substantial national income that benefited the entire nation. Although dependence on agriculture still remained high, Ireland's industrial economy produced sophisticated goods that rivaled international competition. Ireland's international economic boom of the 1990s became known as the Celtic Tiger. The Catholic Church, which once exercised great power, found its influence on socio-political issues in Ireland much reduced. Irish bishops were no longer able to advise and influence the public on how to exercise their political rights. Modern Ireland's detachment of the Church from ordinary life can be explained by the increasing disinterest in Church doctrine by younger generations and the questionable morality of the Church's representatives. A highly publicized case was that of Eamon Casey, the Bishop of Galway, who resigned abruptly in 1992 after it was revealed that he had had an affair with an American woman and had fathered a child. Further controversies and scandals arose concerning pedophile and child-abusing priests. As a result, many in the Irish public began to question the credibility and effectiveness of the Catholic Church. In 2011, Ireland closed its embassy at the Vatican, an apparent result of this growing trend.